Alright, today we're going to try and install this new muffler exhaust pipe. This is, there's several online available. This is whatever, ETL Industries. It was like $250 on Amazon. There's others that are $350 or $400, but this one had pretty good reviews, so it's not like it's going to make it true dual exhaust, but it does have dual tips now. It's supposed to sound better, I guess, and we are going to remove the original muffler with the single pipe and put this one on. Before we do anything, I guess we should start the Jeep and just see how it sounds to get a baseline. So the box is nice and big. I have spread that out to make me a good workspace. And we're going to come up here, and I think all we got to do is take off this clamp and get this off. Slide the next one on. So it should be kind of plug and play, but we'll see how well this comes off. Really, the hardest thing is getting the pipe off. So I'm going to spray it with some PB Blaster first. Now I'm going to take my 16mm socket, loosen this bolt up. I think 5/8 would probably work, but this is a little more snug. I don't know if you just need to loosen it or take it off. I loosened it all the way. I'm just going to pop this thing off. Not sure if it being loose is necessary, you know, if I need to remove this. I don't know if that's necessary, but it's still not budging. I'm going to go ahead and tap this out. Okay, the clamp doesn't come off because it's tack welded in place, which is fine. But it's loose. But I still can't get it to separate, so I have put a flat head there. I've scooted farther back, and now I am just tapping that seam with the hammer and the screwdriver. If I didn't know better, I'd probably think this thing was welded in place. But I have been hammering. I've been hammering this screwdriver down in here and just sort of working it in, wiggling it around, working my way around, shooting it with PB Blaster and still banging on it. And I have finally, I think, broke it loose. Now to get it to pull it out, I think I just got to figure out these rubber brackets on either side. There's one on that side and one right there. So on the new one, we're looking at these hangers here and here. All I got to do is figure out how to get the old one pulled out, and this one should, in theory, slide right back in. Oh, of course, these things don't slip right off, so I've kind of struggled with it. I'm going to try to use the hammer claw to rip him off of there. Hopefully I'll rip this piece. But it's definitely kind of a struggle. Really pull, it's going through. I just got to push it out and kind of work myself back around. I got my foot on it, leverage. I'm just gonna push it out. Okay, it finally broke free. Thank God. Let's go to the other side. The passenger side seems even more awkward. I just can't get the clearance to get it out. I'm wiggling it around. I have broke free over here. And I think at this point, I'm just gonna bait it off of here and see if I can get it once I drop this. Switched to a bigger hammer and kept beating on it. until it slid off. Now it has dropped out of place. I'm still getting held in here, obviously, but I'm going to see if I can get it out. Otherwise, I'm grabbing the Sawzall. I've worked it into this position. I got the pry bar there, get it queued up. I'm going to try pushing it off. Well, after everything, I finally got it, or am getting it, awkwardly wedging it into position with a BFS and just prying it over there. And finally, it drops off. Good grief. Old muffler finally removed after much struggle. Slide this new one on. Hope to God it's easier than getting this one off. Take my new clamp, get into position here. I'll slide my clamp over the pipe. I'm holding it up, just pushing the passenger side bracket into the rubber, and then doing the same for the passenger side. Okay, so I'm going to kind of line up my pipe. I just slid it over, and I'm sort of wiggling it on. And then I got this bracket halfway pushed in. I had to get the pipe on first, and now I'm going to slide this guy on and push it back so he pops over there. That, and now I'm going to come back to the other side, and I'm just going to work this one on like that. So it just sort of took some wiggling back and forth, and I just sort of worked it over until it popped through. Now I'm gonna work my pipe back up. Same idea, just working it up and down, twisting it until I can get it seated further up. And I've just kind of worked it with my legs or whatever, grabbing this end, going up and down, back and forth, and wiggle my way back to where it was. Alright, got my clamp into position. I'm going to take my socket, tighten them back up. Alright, we've got that clamp nice and snug. Okay, so we got it on and in place. I guess what's left is putting our fancy little tips on. 2 tips unboxed. I think that looks pretty self-explanatory. We're going to slide them over here and then tighten them in place. Move them around a little bit so they're kind of both even with one another. That looks good. Now I'm just going to take a 13mm socket and tighten both of these down. Alright, what do you think, Duck? There, we got that in place. Looks better, so I guess we'll see if it sounds better. Hopefully. Oh yeah, I could definitely hear a little rumble when we started it up.